icLAAo. I can't lose, bro. No reality where I lose. Ever. Bro, I realized something a while ago. I was gonna make this video a while ago, but I realized that everybody's on drugs. Literally, I realized that everybody's on drugs. And somebody might watch this video like, I've never taken a drug in my life. I don't do it. You drink coffee, probably. You're probably on some type of antidepressant or something like that. Or you're eating a lot of processed and artificial sugar and sweeteners. Or you're on some type of HRT. All of these things are drugs. Or you're taking some type of supplement. All of these things are drugs. This is what people don't understand. I'm just creatine is not a drug. All of these things are drugs. Because people don't even know what a drug is, first of all. All a drug is anything external that when consumed by somebody creates a physiological response or creates a physiological change / response in the body. That is all a drug is. A drug isn't whatever the government tells you is a drug. A drug isn't whatever people have stigmatized as a drug. A drug is anything that when consumed creates a physiological change in your body. So knowing this definition, everybody's on drugs. Everybody. Including me. Everybody's on drugs. And when I realized this, that's when I realized that the number one best thing that you could do for your life right now is to get off of all drugs. Which is what I'm doing as well. Because I realized that once you take a drug, and every time you take a drug, you become more and more of a slave to that drug. Every time you smoke crack, you feel the need to smoke more crack. Because it's just common, the laws of human nature is just common humans. If you do something and you keep doing it, your body is going to get used to it and think that this is something that it needs to function. So if you smoke crack and you keep smoking crack, eventually now you need crack. You don't even want to smoke crack. You don't even like the fact that you smoke crack. But you smoke crack so much that now you are a slave to crack. And you can apply this to anything. The same thing goes for coffee. People will swear to God that coffee is not a drug, but coffee is a drug, bro. There are certain drugs that the government wants you to be taking, that the powers that be want you to be taking, like coffee, alcohol, all this shit. There are certain drugs that they don't want you to be taking, like psychedelics. But coffee is a drug. And the more you drink coffee, the more you want to drink coffee. And then eventually you need a coffee to start your day off. That's why you hear people say, don't talk to me till I've had my coffee. Don't talk to me till I have my coffee. Because they now need something external from themselves to function. Because they are now a slave to that physiological change in their body that the coffee created, bro. Everybody is a drug. I mean, everybody is on drugs. And most people are a slave to something. And when I realized this, I was like, bro, like I'm doing a complete body cleanse. Not anything, no coffee, no weed, no nothing that will create a physiological response in my body. There's these new things that everybody's talking about, you know, it's like the new wave of going on TRT now, taking testosterone. There are people in their 20s taking testosterone because they've seen so many people who use it, who are lying on the internet saying that they're natural, using testosterone. Now they feel like they need to take testosterone. And then now once you take testosterone, you are now a slave to testosterone. It's literally once you take hormone altering drugs, your hormones will never be able to balance out depending on how much you took unless you keep taking it. So now a lot of people, like I think Joe Rogan, I heard this from Joe Rogan, his crew, they all taking TRT. Everybody's taking TRT. People who aren't even gym goers are taking TRT. Just fuck it. It's the wave now. It's just that out there a slave to TRT. Bro, it's just, everybody's a slave to something, bro. And to me, I feel the way to truly win in life is to disconnect yourself from anything that you feel that you need. The more things that you feel that you need to function in life, the less productive, the less fulfilled, the less happy you will be, because you will constantly be chasing those things that you need just to get started. Think about, like, I go back to that coffee example. Think about how many people will not start anything in the morning till they drink coffee. Think about how many people literally will not go to work till they grab their Starbucks before work, or before they make their coffee before work. Think about that. Is that not crazy? They're now dependent on that drug. The same thing with attention. All these social media influencers, attention is a drug. Clout is literally a drug. And once they get that little taste of clout the first time, they need it again. Because this is what's so dangerous about drugs. And I heard Andrew Tate actually say an excellent quote about drugs. He said, somebody asked him, so why don't you ever take drugs? And he was like, well, if I take cocaine and I don't like it, I'm going to regret trying it. And if I take cocaine and I like it, down the long run in the future, I'm going to regret trying it. And I was like, oh, shit. Because it's true. If you take cocaine, or if you take any drug that you don't like, you're going to be thinking, man, I shouldn't even have taken that. But if you take a drug and you not like it, you're not going to be dependent for it. You're going to get hooked on it. And down the line, when that drug has drained you of your life, has ruined your relationships, has ruined your self-confidence, has ruined everything, you will regret taking that drug. So it's a lose-lose. And I'm not saying you should never, you should never take anything or it's bad. I mean, there are some things that I would say you should never take. But like for something like weed, I wouldn't say you're a terrible person if you smoke weed, or that you can't do it responsibly. But in this day and age, there's just too much stimulation. There's just too much stimulation. There's too much dopamine. Dopamine, like what you get from scrolling on your social media, that's also a drug. There's too much stimulation, and people are so constantly stimulated. They are now a slave to stimulation, which is why people need drugs, which is why people need alcohol, which is why people need social media, which is why people need clout and attention, because our world is putting so much stimulation everywhere that now the majority of humans have adapted to, I need this level of stimulation to function. Think about how many times you woke up and immediately looked on your phone, social media. Immediately. Because you need this stimulation to start your day. Whether you know it or not, through the constant use of social media, through all these things that stimulate your dopamine, you now need that rush immediately as you wake up. And the more you indulge in this lifestyle, the more you indulge in all these drugs, like supplements, like weed, like whatever y'all are taking out there, testosterone. Oh, I'm taking testosterone. Like this shit is crazy, bro. The more you indulge in all these things, the more you need that stimulation to function. And the more stimulation you need to function, the more you're going to seek out all these things. And it's an endless loop. It starts up here. Oh, I'm going to try weed. Ooh, now I'm going to try tabs. Ooh, now I'm going to try shrooms. Ooh, now you know what? Let me just try this pill. Ooh, ooh. It's an endless cycle until you can't do anything unless you're high or stimulated or anything. Nothing. And this is why I say that most people are a slave, bro. I had a crazy experience yesterday night. I'm not even going to talk about it. I was going to talk about it, but I'm not going to talk about it. Let's just say that's the reason that I'm making this video. Because, did I say in the beginning I'm going on a cleanse? I think I did. But yeah, I'm going on a full body cleanse. Just wanted to just touch base out there and say, drugs are bad. There's a reason that people say drugs are bad. Drugs are bad for the sole reason that once you take a drug that you like, you now know how it feels. And there is no way to cancel that you know how that feels. Even if you let's say you take cocaine once and you don't get hooked to it, you don't do it again for a while, you know how it feels. So now when you're in a rough patch and you want to feel good, you remember that feeling, man, I felt good when I took that cocaine. And now you take it again. and then you take it again, and then it's just down the spiral rabbit hole. The less things in life that you depend on for your function, the better off you will be. Don't depend on coffee for your energy. Don't depend on fucking testosterone, TRT, for your energy or muscle growth. Don't depend on all these supplements for anything. This is all bullshit. Don't depend on the external validation of others for your self-confidence. This is all drugs that you are most likely a slave to. Most people are a slave to one of these things I mentioned, whether you're a slave to the attention, whether you're a slave to steroids, whether you're a slave to coffee, whether you're a slave to whatever. You need to separate yourself from the things that you are currently a slave to. Then be honest with yourself. If it's alcohol, you know that you have a problem with alcohol, your number one priority should be to separate yourself from alcohol. Separate yourself from all the things that you are a slave to. Make it so that you can function without anything but yourself. Make sure that you can wake up and function without coffee. Make sure that you can go to the gym and make gains without supplements or drugs. Make it so that you can feel your self-worth and fulfillment and self-love from yourself and not from other people, whether it's online or just people around you. Make it so that all you need to function is you. Not, oh, I need to smoke before I go out to this party. No. Make it so that all you need to function is you. Now is the time to make those changes because the stimulation is getting crazy. Everywhere, dopamine, dopamine everywhere. You can't look anywhere without seeing something that can catch you. I didn't even talk about another one, porn. Oh my God. I didn't even talk about that one. I don't even have to say anything about that one. All these things that people are slaves to. All these things keeping you down. They're like an anchor. Imagine you're trying to fly, but you have porn weighing you down, but you have alcohol weighing you down, but you have whatever else weighing you down. How are you supposed to fly or swim when you have all these things drag you down? How are you supposed to get to the top when you have all these things drag you down that you have convinced yourself that you need? I'm just saying, I want to drop this message because I'm going on a body cleanse. I'm limiting any external thing that comes into my body. I'm taking that very serious now. And I'm better than the majority of people in this aspect. Like, I don't really do too much that is truly bad. I don't really have too much. Nah, let me not say that because we all have stuff that we're doing. But long story short, if you want to live a fulfilled, happy life, if you want to elevate to your highest potential, you need to let go of all the weights that are holding you down. Do it now, or it will be too late. And once it's too late, you are forever a slave. icLAAo, no reality where I lose. Ever.